All praise, glory, and honor most certainly is most certainly due to the Most High. The God of patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace in the name of Jesus. This is your brother Elisha Israel of the household of faith. I count it truly a blessing each and every single time that I can come before you to preach the word of God. I never counted a light thing to do so. I know I'm going on a little bit early today. And I always say I'm not going to keep you long. And that is my intention when I say it. But sometimes those scriptures get to running. But today, I want to deal with a question that a brother asked via the internet. And it's kind of personal. So I'm not going to say the brother's name, but I put the brother's initials in there. And I'm going to read the question or the email, I should say. He sent an email. I'm going to read the email and then I'm going to respond through the scriptures. Okay, so, and just logic. Hold on 1 second. So the brother says, hello, Brother Elisha. I watched your video choosing the right mate. I enjoyed it like all the other videos I watch on your IsraelTeach YouTube channel. My question to you is, what's the best way to deal with my wife, who got baptized the same day as I did, but has walked away from the truth? After so much bad tension between us because of the Sabbath, she asked me to leave. So I moved out. I understand what the scriptures say about divorce, so I don't support the topic when it's brought up. To make a long story short, I repented to Jesus, admitted my faults to my wife, fasted and prayed to Jesus on how to fix my mistakes. Although I didn't cheat, beat, or verbally abuse my wife, I didn't pay enough attention to her. I would ask and she would say everything is okay. I should have pushed harder. Can you give me any scripture to help me? Peace in Jesus' name. Okay, so first and foremost, every time, especially when you got two people in any situation, you got two people. One person has one side, one person has the other side, and oftentimes the truth is somewhere in the middle, or can be somewhere in the middle. Okay, I will say this: I take everything with a grain of salt. So how I'm looking at this, peace to everybody that's listening. How I'm looking at this is I'm based on just what I read. That does not mean necessarily that is the whole case in totality. However, what I will say is that, because again, don't know, so I want to qualify that and put that out there for disclosure. First of all, I don't know. But if I'm looking at it based on what you said, I will note that oftentimes people don't, when they saying what's going on in their marriage, a lot of times they won't say what they did. Okay? But we're going to get to what he thinks he did. Okay? So now this is, so the first thing, he said his wife is no longer in the truth. Okay? So how do you deal with a wife that's no longer in the truth? She got baptized on the same day, right? And so you know, that's a beautiful thing. But then if she don't deal with it, now you got an issue. Okay? Well, let's look at it. Let's go to the writings of Paul. We're in 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter, and we want to pick it up at verse 10. It says, and unto the married I command, yet not out of the Lord, let not the wife depart from the husband. But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband. Let not the husband put away his wife. Okay? So now you're talking about marriage. Now, one thing we need to understand about marriage in the context of the Bible. Okay? First of all, it was between a man and a woman. In today's society, it could be between two men, two women, man. That they don't even take that into consideration anymore. Secondly, a woman couldn't even divorce a man. Okay, now she could leave, right? And you see instances of women leaving, but as far as writing a bill of divorcement, sending a woman out here, that was something that a man did. Today, that's not the case. What I mean by that is, yeah, you have men that divorce their wives, but 70% of divorces are initiated today by women. I'm going to say that again. 70% of divorces today are initiated by women. And if you get married today, you got a 50% chance of getting divorced. And just back to that 70% of divorce rate that is initiated by women, it goes up to 90% when you're talking about educated women. Like college women have a college degree. Okay? When old marriage, biblically speaking, covenant made before God, man and woman. Today, yeah, you can have some a man and woman have a covenant before God, but you also got something called the state. And the state is the head of that thing, and you understand that when you try to get a divorce. Because they get involved and they are highly, and I mean highly, biased against men. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. But nevertheless, you have regulation of marriage. And I'm saying all that to say, because oftentimes you find yourself in a situation in general, right? And don't realize the decisions you made put you in that situation. So like one thing that if you're not married, you need to understand is one of the most important decisions you can make. The most important decision you can make is whether or not to serve God. I would say the second most important decision to make is regarding if you're going to be with somebody, who that person going to be. Because that person can really impact your life in a positive way or a negative way. Okay? So now, but just so let's say somebody's in the truth, and like in this case, the woman is no longer, his wife is no longer in the truth. Let's keep reading. It says in verse 10, and unto the married I command, yet not out of the Lord, but let not the wife depart from her husband. But if she depart, let her remain unmarried to be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. So now, that is ideal. You don't want divorce. Verse 12. But to the rest I speak not out of the Lord. If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. Okay, so now if you have a woman that's, even if you in the truth and your wife is not in the truth, Paul is stating here, hey, don't put her away. Right? He's saying don't put her away. That's if she's pleased to dwell with you. We see here she told you to leave though, and you left. So it said, and a woman which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. Right? And same thing for woman. A woman could be a believer, and a woman could be serving God, and a man not serve God. He say, if that man is pleased to dwell with you, he ain't no believer, but he dwell with you. Let's see, don't leave. Notice he didn't say don't put her and him away, because that's not even though that's the vast majority of divorces today. That's not how it is biblically. It said, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. So it's like Lord is looking out for your household because of that one individual. And you had instances like that where the one that's believing is concerned about the children. They want the children to believe. And then you got the other one who don't care about what thus saith the Lord, and they go in a different way. And that's why I'm talking about why it's so important not to be unequally yoked. But a lot of times we find we be married 15, 10 years, 5 years. And then you come into the truth and you're like, wait a minute. And your spouse and the one you with like, I ain't down with that. So if you're not in that situation, that's what I always say, never get married to somebody just because you're scared of being alone. Because you can look up and you wish you were by yourself. But he said, but if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God have called us to peace. So in other words, if it can be reconciled to the person, can be, but if the person abandoned you, now you got a whole different situation. And even though you the one left, you were in a situation to where I don't know what the housing situation was, but she's asking you to leave. She could file for divorce. Okay? Now you said it's tension about the Sabbath, right? So and I say this to men. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna go to Ecclesiastes. And I know we read this all the time. Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. It should put things in perspective. Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, in verse 13. He said, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So what's your duty as a human being is to fear God. In general, the universal duty of all man is to fear God and keep his commandments. You understand? So I say that to say it don't matter what she talking about. It don't matter what she disagree with. See, one thing men have to understand. See, when you put God first in your life, it don't matter what nobody else is saying. It don't matter what nobody else is talking about. It don't matter what your employer talking about. It don't matter what your wife talking about. It don't matter what your mama talking about. It don't matter what your friends and former friends and associates, whoever. It don't matter what the government say. It don't matter about none of that. Why? Because if you put God first, everything else will fall into place, whether they get with your program or not. So if she don't get with your program, oh well. Sitting there, I'm not saying you sitting there arguing with a woman, but you shouldn't sit there arguing with no woman. You tell her what it is. And that ain't no macho stuff. That's you following God. So either you stand on your square and say what you say and mean what you say, and you're going to have to respect it. And if it means, well, I'm not going to be here no more, hit the door if you want to. I'm not forcing you out, but I'm telling you what's going on in this household. And if you want to defy that, that's all you're not preventing me from doing nothing. Sitting there arguing with somebody who was in the truth, so should know better. And again, I'm not saying the brother was arguing. So do you say some scriptures? What can I give you? Oh, I'm going to give you what the Lord say to do. That's what I'm going to give you. It don't matter what she's talking about at all. It don't matter what she's talking about at all. Exodus 20, and he tell you clearly, because he said your whole duty is to fear God and keep his commandments, right? He said, for in 6 days, Exodus 20 and 11, verse 8, it said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God, in it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. So none of that's yours supposed to do that. But if she decides she's going to defile the Sabbath, she defiling the Sabbath. Like I heard a wise man, he said, how your wife? Yeah, she crazy, but she ain't going to run me. That's what the man said. He said his wife was crazy, but she wasn't going to run him. In other words, he going to serve the Lord. It don't matter what she talking about. It don't matter what she talking about. That's what you got to do. And that's really you got to be. That's how you got to be. It ain't about, you got to focus. You got to put your focus on God first. As a man, you're supposed to be the spiritual head, and you are the foundation. You are the pole in the tent, so to speak. So now, if somebody out of line, you tell them what it is. In your household, you tell them what it is. And if they get so crazy that they want to leave, you see it? So it said, for in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So now you don't worry about the Sabbath. He telling you what to do, and you doing it. Take solace in that, brother. Take solace in the fact that you're doing it. A lot of times you know what we do? We don't want to come to the grips with, quite frankly, you got some people that ain't going to serve the Lord. The vast majority of the people ain't going to serve the Lord. And a lot of them in your family. Your mama, she ain't going to listen. And you trying to figure out why. Because she don't want to. But that ain't got nothing to do with what you say should be done and what you do in your house. I'm keeping the Sabbath. These kids keeping the Sabbath. We supposed to be keeping the Sabbath. Now, if she go crazy, that it is what it is. You can only control what you can control, and you can be righteous. Let's see what else he did in the beginning. I'm gonna go to I'm in Genesis 2. Genesis 2. It says, well, actually, before I go here, because the next thing you said, you mentioned a point. She said she asked you to leave. Let me say this here, because I don't know that situation. But let me say your other, man, it's a dearth of manhood out here. Let me show you what else you're supposed to be doing. Because see, if you're doing these things, it don't mean that a woman not gonna leave you. That happens all the time. You could be right and a woman can leave you. But you could take solace in the fact that you're doing what's right. Because it ain't about this, it ain't about pleasing her. It's about pleasing God and doing what you're supposed to do as a man. This is 1 Timothy, the 4th chapter, and verse 8. He said, but if any man provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he have denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. So one thing you want to make sure, as a man, you understand you're the spiritual head of your household. If you in the scriptures, you know that. You're supposed to be you're supposed to be the spiritual head leading the way. You're supposed to be teaching your kids. You're supposed to be providing for your family. That's what you're supposed to do as a man. Period. Now, if she get out of pocket and she want to leave you, it might be years down the line she realized that was the worst mistake she ever made. But that shouldn't change what you're doing and what you about. All you could do is play your position. Don't cry over no woman. Don't cry over nothing like that. Let's go to see what he did in the beginning, because you need to understand what you are. And many men don't understand what they are, especially our men. Less than, you a criminal, you ignorant, you stupid, you ain't a good father, you this, you that, no. Hold on. Let me go back to the beginning. This is Genesis 2 and verse 7. It said, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So now he made you, right? But how did he make you? This is Genesis 1 and 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he and him. Now he made you in the image and the likeness of God. That's how he made you. That's how he made you. And when you came into the world, let's go to Job. Why am I pointing that out? Because you don't know what you are. See, people look at it and say, well, what am I going to do? This person left me. Let's see what Job said. You don't understand. See, you don't understand what you are. You're a man. You're a man. You try to figure out what I do. If you're doing everything you're supposed to do as far as a man goes, being a spiritual head, teaching your children, taking care of a family, you should rest in the fact that you was doing what you were supposed to do. And if she is a fool, and I'm not saying a woman, I don't know. Because in actuality, I'm just responding to the text or the email. But if she is out of pocket and doing these things, that's on her. You shouldn't feel, I'm speaking directly to the way in which it seems from your email that you feeling. Let's read this. Now this is Job 1 and 1. He said there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright and one that feared God and eschewed evil. So now this is a perfect man. He was upright. I mean, he was righteous. He hated evil. But then he lost everything that he had. He lost his wealth. He lost his children. And he had 10 children. And this was a man who was a righteous man who even made sacrifice to in regard to what his children may have said. He said maybe they cursed God in their mind. He continually sacrificed. Right? Standing in a gap for his family, but then he lost his wealth, he lost his children, he lost his health, and then his wife comes talking crazy. Job, the 2nd chapter, after he's got balls from the crown to the soul, it said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Understand what she's saying. You still got integrity? Why? Because you're not just a man, you're a righteous man. even with nothing, even with no money, even with your kids gone, even with your health gone, you still a man. You still a man. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? You gonna serve God? He said, but he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaking. He said, what? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? And all this, did not Job sin with his lips? See, he wasn't worried about what his wife was talking about. Because he put it in perspective. Even after all that he lost, he put it in perspective that I'm gonna serve God. I don't care what happens in the world. I don't care what you talking about. I'm gonna serve God. And that's the kind of attitude that men need to have. You call yourself righteous. You call yourself a man of God. Stand on your square. Stand on your square. This is Job 1. Because how can he say something like that? Because Job understood. He lost all, he didn't say he lost a wife. He lost all of his children, lost his progeny, 10 children. 10 children. He lost all of his wealth. Sometimes people walk out of our lives and we crumble. He lost 10 of his children and everything he had, and he had built up something. He had built up something. But what did he say when he lost all that he had? He said in verse 21, 1-21, and said. So first of all, verse 20 said, then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshiped. He didn't forget God. He still put God first. It don't matter what your wife talking about. Still put God first. If you're a woman and your husband talking crazy, put God first. He said, in verse 21, and said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. Meaning I didn't come with nobody. I didn't come with no wife. I didn't come with these kids. When it's all said and done, I'm going to still serve God. I came by myself naked. And he said, I'm going to return hither. I'm going back to the dust, but I'm going to be a man while I'm here. And said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Still serving God. It don't matter what she's talking about. It don't matter that she don't want to keep the Sabbath. It don't matter that she leaving you. Naked I came into the world, and naked shall I return hither back. And she'll respect you more if you stand on your square. And who knows what's going on? Who knows what's going on? You don't understand. I'm going to just keep it 100 with you. And I don't know that to be true. So but a lot of times people have a contingency plan. You look up everything okay. Next thing you know, they're trying to break this off. You be looking up why they had stuff planned for a long time. You don't know what's going on. Especially men, you look up, you think everything okay, and you get them papers. You're like, what's going on? I didn't know it was this bad. You said you repented, right? You said you repented from all that you did, but then it said you didn't cheat. You didn't abuse your wife verbally or physically, right? You didn't cheat. You didn't cheat. Well, you call them cheat. You say you didn't cheat. You didn't beat your wife. You didn't verbally abuse your wife. So now, and it said not enough attention, but then she said everything was okay. If it be true, if this even true, again, I want to keep qualifying that. Brother, one thing people don't understand is that they think that another person is supposed to make them happy. Happiness comes from within. All you can do is play your position and do what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. You know, like you watch some of these movies. See, people watch too much television. You watch that movie, was it Jerry Maguire? He come trying to get his woman back. He tell her, you complete me. Yeah, you got a man and a woman that come together and they be one flesh, right? They walk together. But understand, you was complete when they got here. You was a man That's what I'm saying. Like, you talking about what you, and if you are doing what a man should do, you should not be moved by a woman talking about she gonna leave you. I know that sounds harsh. I know that may sound insensitive, but it is what it is. It don't matter who the woman is. If she leave you and you doing what you're supposed to do, why in the world are you upset? Why in the world are you upset? If you a God-fearing man, if you a God-fearing man today, doing what thus saith the Lord, holding down the job, holding down the family, doing what you're supposed to do, setting a good example for your wife and your kids, and your woman leave you, deuces. Why you upset? Why you crying? Because it should not move you to that extent. Why? Because you a man. You up there crying. Not you in particular. I give an example of this, man. I know of a situation where a young man had, and it's a different situation, but it's similar in the regard to you don't understand what you are. This man, first of all, potentially Olympic athlete, okay? Dual scholarships in college, right? Alpha male physically, right? Strong as, benching like 300 pounds as a freshman, 315 as a freshman. It might actually, 400 as a freshman. Huge dude, right? Olympic athlete. Then he's trying to decide whether or not he was going to go to the Olympics. Football and wrestling scholarship. But then what happened? The woman he dealing with or trying to date, she cheating on him and then break up with him. But try, and he in trouble threatening her because he's so emotionally distraught. Why in the world, first of all, why are you trying to deal with a woman who out there like that in the first place? Second of all, you shouldn't be distraught because some woman leave you. I understand you were a righteous woman, a virtuous woman, and let's say you married her all these years and she passed. That's gut wrenching. I understand that, but you're still a man. You're still a man. You're still a man. So don't be the scripture I give you is serve God no matter what. Fear God and keep his commandments. That's my scripture. That's my help. It might not be what you wanted, but that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. Because at the very best, and the child really, a young person said this to me, and I was like, you can't argue with. He said, at the very best, the best that two people can have is that they can come together, love each other, and live their lives married, and then they gonna die. I mean, we know that, but when I heard him say it, I was like, that's the best you could do. Naked I came into the world, naked shall I return thither. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Serve God, don't worry about her. Look at whether or not God will be pleased. That should be the forefront. And keep playing your position. And if we play our position, that's why our family's in turmoil right now. That's why we are bringing forth children that don't know how to be men and don't know how to be women because we have set terrible examples. You're a father, but you soft. You not and understand. Woman not gonna respect that. She not gonna respect that. You'd have a better chance just from a logical situation. If you say she said, I'm leaving, I want you. Oh, fine, cool, I'm out. Or say she was there, I'm leaving, okay. Why he saying okay? Why he okay with it? Because I'm a man. You can leave. I don't care what happened. I'm gonna be all right. And you're a God fan. Let me just say something to you real quick, and then I'm gonna be gone. I told you I won't keep you long. You a God-fearing man today. You holding down the fort, right? You got a job. You know how few God-fearing righteous men it is? Understand what you are. I'm not saying you got to be, that's not something being arrogant, But understand the value that you can bring if you're doing what you're supposed to do as a man. And that don't mean you're rich. That don't mean you got millions of dollars. But you got some integrity. You got high moral character. You gonna take care of your wife and your children when put in that position. What you should, man, work on being a man. Work on self-improvement. Stay in these scriptures. And everything else will fall into place. It don't matter who come and go in your life. Your mama, daddy, wife, children, it don't matter. It does not matter. And with that, brothers and sisters, I want to remind you that we're at the Household of Faith, meet every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana. At 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, we live stream right here on the IsraelTeach YouTube channel, as well as at www.IsraelTeach.org. That's our website. If you've been edified by the ministry, you can leave a donation there, an offering there. We want to thank those who have done so. All praise to the Most High. If you've been edified, you can do that. 100% of the proceeds go to the work of the ministry. We do not take the money and buy cars and houses with it for ourselves. We don't do that. And with that, brothers and sisters, it's always my prayer that you were edified.